Good morning, everybody. Sumdum Oki here. I've got music playing. I hope it's not too loud. Um, Today we are going to continue through the Gospel of Mark, and we are reading chapters 4-7. I'm really excited. I've got some equipment coming in. I am so thankful for everybody all my subscribers. I can't thank you enough. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying with me and following along and leaving your comments and all of your questions and everything. Good and bad, I welcome all of it and I appreciate everything. And to anybody who's coming in that is new on my channel, thank you for being here. All of my content is free. I don't have a Patreon. There's no membership. There won't ever be. I'm not going to ever sell merch. Everything that all the information that I give you guys and everything that I read is absolutely free. And so you can do it on your own time. I'm just making it convenient. It's like kind of like an audiobook. Sorry, I'm all up in the camera. I just broke my fingernail and I caught on something. So, anyways, but all this channel costs is your time. That's it. I hope you enjoy it. If you're into any kind of Christian content or anything like that, check out the channel. That's all I can say. Just check it out. I do most everything on lives because I love your interactions. I want to hear what you guys have to say and your thoughts and your questions. And it's really cool to have you guys here. Again, thank you. So without further ado, I'm going to continue on in Mark. So where we left off in chapter 3 is where Jesus is surrounded by a crowd and his mother and his brother are like hollering out at him and they're like, "Hey, Jesus." And the people are like, "Hey, your mom and your brother are trying to talk to you." And he goes, who are my mother and my brother? And he says that whoever does the will of my Father is my mother and my brother and my sister. So that's where we left off in chapter 3. We're going to pick up here in chapter 4. Now, I put all these together because chapter 7 is just a good stopping point. It doesn't lead on or anything. And also a forewarning ahead of time. There's a few chapters in here that are kind of long. So, a lot of red letter print as well. So, Mark chapter 4. And he began again to teach by the seaside, and there was gathered unto him a great multitude, so that he entered into a ship and sat in the sea. And the whole multitude was by the sea on the land. So there's so many people. He gets into a boat and he's in the water, and all the people are on the land, and he's just sitting in the boat facing them. And he taught them many things by parables, and said to them in his doctrine, "Hearken, behold, there went out a sower to sow. And it came to pass that he sowed, and some fell by the wayside. And the fowls of the air came and devoured it up. So the birds came and ate his seeds. And some fell on stony ground where it had not much earth, and immediately it sprang up. But because it had no depth of earth, it came up quickly. But when the sun was up, it was scorched, and because it had no root, it withered away. And then some fell among the thorns, and then the thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no fruit. And then the last little bit fell on good ground. And it did yield fruit that sprang up and increased and brought forth some 30, some 60, and some 100. And he said unto them, He that has ears, let him hear. And when he was alone, they that were out about him with the 12 asked of him the parable, What does it mean? And he said to them, Unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of God, but unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables, that seeing they may see and not perceive, and hearing they may hear and not understand, lest at any time they should be converted and their sins should be forgiven them. And he said to them, Know ye not this parable? For how then will you know all parables? The sower sows the word. So the man in the parable is sowing the word. That's his seeds. And these are they that flew by the wayside, the ones that fell by the wayside, where the word was sown and was eaten by the birds. But when they have heard, Satan comes immediately and takes away the word that was sown in their hearts. So Satan's like the birds. As soon as the seeds are sown, he immediately comes in and starts eating it and taking it away. And these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground, who, when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness. So people who learn about Jesus and they're excited and they receive it with an open, happy heart. But they have no root in themselves, and so endure but for a time. Afterwards, when affliction or persecution arises for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. So they get excited, but when affliction or persecution arises for the word's sake, so whenever people start questioning them or judging them or things like that, they immediately stop what they're doing and they conform back to the world. And these that are sown among the thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches and the lust of other things entering in choke the word, and it becomes unfruitful. And those which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive it, and bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60-fold, and some 100. And he said unto them, Is a candle brought to be put under a bushel or under a bed, and not to be set on a candlestick? So you light a candle to let it burn, not to hide it under a bushel. For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested, neither was anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad. Hey, good morning. Good morning, Justin. How are you, dear? I'm really glad you're here. For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested, neither was anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad. If any man have ears to hear, let him hear. And he said unto them, Take heed what you hear, with what measure you measure, it shall be measured to you. And unto you that hear shall more be given. For he that hath to him shall be given, and he that has not from him shall be taken even that he has. This kind of mirrors a previous parable. And he said, So is the kingdom of God, and if a man should cast seed onto the ground, and should sleep and rise night and day, and the seed should spring up and grow, he knoweth not how. For the earth brings forth fruit of herself, first of the blade, then the ear, after that the full corn in the ear. But when the fruit is brought forth, immediately he puts in the sickle, because the harvest has come. And he said, whereunto shall we liken the kingdom of God? Or with that comparison shall we compare it? It is like a grain of mustard seed, which, when it is sown in the earth, is less than all the seeds of the earth. But when it has sown, it grows up and becomes greater than all the herbs, and shoots out great branches, so that the fowls of the air may lodge under the shadow of it. And with many such parables spake he the word unto them, as they were able to hear it. But without a parable spake he not unto them. And when they were alone, he expounded all things to his disciples. And the same day, when the evening had come, he said unto them, let us pass over unto the other side. And when they had sent away the multitude, they took him even as he was in the ship, and there were also with him other little ships. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. And he was in the hinder part of the ship, and in the back part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. And they awoke him and said to him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? So they're like, Jesus, Master, do you not care that we die? There's this big storm going on. And so he arose, and he rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And he said unto them, why are you so fearful? How is it that you have no faith? And they feared exceedingly and said to one another, what manner of man is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him? Cool stuff. It doesn't say anything about the little ship, so I don't know if they were there or, I'm not sure what happened with all them, but if they were, man, I would love to have been a fly on the wall when all this stuff was happening. Like if I could go back in time. Because, I mean, could you imagine that happening today? Crazy. So that was the end of chapter 4. We're going to go into 5, and it's not super long. And chapter 6 is exceedingly long. So, but like I said, all this stuff kind of goes together. 7 gives us a good stopping point for sure. And we get to hear some more teachings and parables. So those are always fun. And again, if you've been following along, whenever I went through the Gospel of Matthew, just a reminder, we're going to be, rehearing a lot of this stuff again. Same stories, just described differently. Details aren't changed. Like I said, they're just described differently. So if not, you can follow along through the series and catch up with us. We've got some good stuff going on. So nonetheless. And he began again to teach by the seaside, and there was gathered unto him a great multitude, so that, oh, excuse me. I almost reread chapter 4. We're in chapter 5. And they came over unto the other side of the sea, into the country of Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit. That is a really good part. The peace be still. I wish people, and that's part of the reason why I'm doing this, I really wish people would read more. People have given up on books. And I've talked about a few things in the Bible that I think man has kind of messed with, but not New Testament. And so, but I want people to know, even if it's just the stories, it's still seeds, and they're good stories with, explanations and good moral value and character, good expectations of yourself also. So anyway, he had come out of the ship and he was immediately met by a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, not even with chains. Because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder him, and the fetters broke in pieces, neither could any man tame him. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. But when he saw Jesus from afar off, he ran and worshipped him, and cried with a loud voice and said, "What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God, the Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God, and thou torment me not." And he said unto him, "Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit." And he asked, "What is your name?" And he answered, saying, "My name is Legion, for we are many." And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was near the mountains a great herd of swine feeding. And all the devils besought him, saying, "Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them." And forthwith Jesus gave them leave, and the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine. And the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. They were about 2,000 and choked in the sea. 2,000 pigs? That's a lot. That is a lot. I'm trying to picture that many in my head for all of them to just. I've got this vision of like The Ring where the horse jumps off the cliff, but it's like thousands of pigs. So, and they that fed the swine fled and told it in the city and in the country, and they went out to see what it was that was done. And they came to Jesus and saw him that was possessed with the devil and had the legion, sitting and clothed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. They had just heard about and then seen the effects of this miracle, and they are scared. How in the world did this person cast out and fix this man? He's sitting here not being crazy. He doesn't need to be held down. He's not cutting himself. He's a normal person. And they that saw it told them how it befell to him that was possessed with the devil, and also concerning the swine. And they began to pray him to depart out of their coasts. They were so scared. They were praying. They were praying for him to leave. Please leave. This is too much. Too much. So when he went into his ship, he that had been possessed with the devil prayed him that he might be with him. He wanted to go. However, Jesus suffered him not, but said unto him, Go home to your friends and tell them how great things the Lord has done for you and has had compassion on you. And he departed and began to publish in Decapolis how great things Jesus had done for him, and all men did marvel. And when Jesus was passed over again by ship unto the other side, much people gathered unto him, and he was near to the sea. And behold, there came one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name, and when he saw him, he fell at his feet. He besought him greatly, saying, My daughter lies at the point of death. I pray thee come and put your hands on her, that she may be healed, and she shall live. And Jesus went with him, and much people followed him and thronged him. And a certain woman, which had an issue of blood for 12 years, and had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse. When she had heard of Jesus, came in the press behind and touched his garment. For she said, If I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. So she's been bleeding for 12 years. And she's been going to all these different doctors, and they're doing all different kinds of stuff to her and, whatever. And she's not getting any better, and she's getting worse. And she spent all of her money trying to be better, trying to heal and get better. And she tells herself, if I can just touch the hem of his cloak, I know I'll be healed. And that's exactly what happens. And she feels inside of her that she's immediately healed. And so Jesus, immediately knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the crowd and said, Who touched my clothes? And his disciples said unto him, You see the multitude thronging you and saying you, and you're asking, Who touched me? And he looked around about to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him and told him all the truth. She was scared. She didn't want to get in trouble. She didn't want him to be mad at her. And so she comes and falls down on her knees and told him the truth. It was me. I did it. And so he said to her, Daughter, your faith has made thee whole. Go in peace and be whole of your plague. So your faith has made you whole. Your belief and your faith in me that I am the Son of God has made you whole. While he yet spoke, there came from the ruler of the synagogue's house certain which said, His daughter was dead. Why troublest thou, Master, any further? As soon as Jesus heard the word that was spoken, he said unto the ruler of the synagogue, Be not afraid. Don't be afraid. Only believe. So don't be scared. Just believe. Trust me. And he suffered no man to follow him save Peter and James and John, the brother of James. So it's just Peter, James, and John. And he came to the house of the ruler of the synagogue, and seeth the tumult, and them that wept and wailed greatly. And when he had come in, he said unto them, Why make you this ado and weep? The damsel is not dead, but sleeps. So why are you all so upset and crying and weeping? She's not dead. She's just sleeping. And they laughed him to scorn. Pretty reasonable. They don't know and understand. So this is a leader. This is a ruler of the synagogue. And I mean, we know that the people of the synagogue aren't really appreciating what Jesus is doing right now. But think about, I mean, if you were unfortunate, I mean, some of us have had to be with people while they're passing, and so, imagine, your family or your friends or whatever, and they're gathered around, and this person has passed. Okay, they're not breathing anymore, and so this gentleman comes in while all this is happening, and all the emotions are happening and everything, and he's got three guys with him, and no one knows who these people are. And they're kind of thinking he's got some audacity here because he tells them, he's like, she's not dead, she's just sleeping. Wouldn't you laugh? Like, hey, no, look, she's not breathing. She's she's dead. There, no pulse. She's done. But when he had put them all out, he took the father and the mother of the girl and them that were with him, and entered in where the girl was laying. And he took her by the hand and said unto her, Talitha Kumi, which is being interpreted as, Girl, I say unto thee, arise. And straightway the girl arose and walked, for she was of the age of 12 years. And they were astonished with a great astonishment. And he charged them straitly that no man should know it, and commanded that something should be given her to eat. So don't tell anyone I did this. He just raised he raised this girl from the dead, basically. And don't tell anybody. He tells everybody that. Um, and give her something to eat. She's hungry. So that was the end of chapter 5. That was the long one there. Chapter 6 is too. Yeah, I'm gonna mark this real quick. I'm gonna give my throat a break for just a second here. Thanks for staying here with me. I forgot it was Wednesday, to be honest. Working on the overnights kind of slurs my days together sometimes, but it takes me a minute to go back to sleep, like to go to sleep in the morning, and so um, I just utilize that time for prayer and spending time with God in the morning whenever I have that alone time, and then hanging out with you guys and reading and talking to you guys. Thanks for being here again. So, chapter 6. And he went out from thence and came into his own country, and his disciples followed him. So he leaves and he goes back home. And when the Sabbath day had come, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many hearing him were astonished, saying, From whence hath this man these things? And what wisdom is this which is given unto him, that even such mighty works are wrought by his hands? Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, the brother of James and Joseph, and of Judah and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us? And they were offended at him. So, very relatable, super relatable. He goes back home. And so all of these people know him. They've known him. They've watched him grow up. He's the son of a carpenter. And he comes back home, and now, he's famous basically, and he's doing all these works and he's preaching, and they're offended. They're like, how is he even doing this? He's just some guy. We know this guy. He's not special. But Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor, but in his own country, and among his own kin, and in his own house, because there's familiarity there. And he could not do mighty works there, save that he laid his hands upon a few sick people and healed them. And he marveled because of their unbelief, and he went round about the villages teaching. And he called unto him the 12, and began to send them forth by 2 and 2, and gave them power over unclean spirits. And he commanded them that they should take nothing for their journey, save a staff only, and no scrip, no bread, no money in their purse. Just go. But be shod with sandals, and not put on 2 coats. And he said unto them, in what place soever you enter into a house, there abide till you depart from that place. So stay where you're at until you decide to leave that area. And whosoever shall not receive you nor hear you, when you depart, shake the dust under your feet for a testimony against them. So when you go to these places and they don't want to hear you or receive you, when you leave, shake the dust off your feet. So verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. They've been given the authority to, and the power to perform miracles from Jesus. So they cast out many devils and anointed with oil many that were sick and healed them. Now, King Herod heard of him, and his name was spread abroad. And he said that John the Baptist was risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works do show forth themselves in him. Others said that it is Elias, and others said that it is a prophet or is one of the prophets. But when Herod heard thereof, he said, it is John, whom I beheaded. He is risen from the dead. For Herod himself had sent forth and laid hold upon John and bound him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife, for he had married her. For John had said unto Herod, it is not lawful for thee to have thy brother's wife. Therefore Herodias had a quarrel against him, and would have killed him, but she could not. For Herod feared John, knowing that he was a just man and was holy and observed him. And when he heard him, he did many things and heard him gladly. And when a convenient day was come, that Herod on his birthday made a supper to his lords, high captains, and chief estates of Galilee. And when the daughter of the said Herodias came in and danced and pleased Herod and them that sat with him, the king said to the girl, ask of me whatsoever thou wilt, and I will give it to you. And he swore unto her, whatever you shall ask of me, I will give it to you unto the half of my kingdom. And she went forth and said unto her mother, what should I ask for? And she said, her mother, the head of John the Baptist. And she came in straightway with haste unto the king, and asked, saying, I will that thou give me by and by in a charger the head of John the Baptist. And the king was exceedingly sorry, yet for his oath's sake and for their sakes which sat with him, he would not reject her. He's got to do it. He said he would. And immediately the king sent an executioner and commanded his head to be brought. And he went and beheaded him in the prison, and brought his head in a charger, and gave it to the damsel, and the damsel gave it to her mother. And when his disciples heard of it, they came and took up his corpse and laid it in a tomb. And the apostles gathered themselves together unto Jesus and told him all the things, both what they had done and what they had taught. And he said unto them, Come you yourselves apart into a desert place and rest a while. For there were many coming and going, and they had no leisure so much as to eat. And they departed into a desert place by ship privately. And the people saw them departing, and many knew him, and ran afoot thither out of all cities, and outwent them, and came together unto him. So these people, they're trying to get away, and these people are running. They're following him up the coast. And Jesus, when he came out, saw much people, and was moved with compassion toward them, because they were as sheep not having a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. And when the day was now far spent, his disciples came unto him and said, There is a desert place, and now the time is far past. Send them away, that they may go into the country round about, and into the villages, and buy themselves bread, for they have nothing to eat. They've been following you nonstop. He answered and said unto them, Give ye them to eat. Give them something to eat. And they said to him, Shall we go and buy 200 pennyworth of bread and give them something to eat? And he says to them, How many loaves do we have? Go and see. And when they knew, they said, 5 and 2 fish. And he commanded them to make all sit down by companies upon the green grass. And they sat down in ranks, by hundreds and by 50s. And when he had taken the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and blessed and broke the loaves and gave them to his disciples to set before them. And the 2 fish divided he among them all. And they did all eat and were filled. And they took up 12 baskets full of fragments and of the fish. And they that did eat of the loaves were about 5,000 men. That's a lot of people. I wonder if, like, so they were eating and they like take a piece of bread off, but it's not, like, almost like it's not really gone, you know what I mean? And so it just, I don't know, because there was a lot of loaves left over, so I have no idea, but that is really neat. So straight away, he constrains his disciples to get into the ship and go to the other side before Bethsaida while he sent away the people. So you guys go, I'm going to send these people away. And when he had sent them away, he departed into a mountain to pray. He needed some alone time. And when the evening had come, the ship was in the midst of the sea, and he alone on the land. And he saw them toiling and rowing, for the wind was contrary unto them. And about the 4th watch of the night, he came to them walking upon the sea, and would have passed by them. But when they saw him walking upon the sea, they supposed it had been a spirit, and cried out. For they all saw him and were troubled. And immediately he talked with them and said, Be of good cheer. It is I. Don't be afraid. Be not afraid. And he went up unto them into the ship, and the wind ceased, and they were sore amazed in themselves beyond measure, and wondered. For they considered not the miracle of the loaves, for their heart was hardened. And when they had passed over, they came into the land of Gennesaret, and drew to the shore. When they had come out of the ship, right away they knew him, and ran through the whole region round about, and began to carry about in beds those that were sick, where they heard he was. And whatsoever he entered into villages or cities or country, They laid the sick in the streets and besought him that they might touch, that they might touch if it were but the border of his garment, and as many as touched him were made whole. So all these people are gathering around and they want to touch his garment, similar to the woman, and they do, and they're made whole. That was the end of chapter. One more chapter. It's not really long. I hope you're enjoying. Thanks for staying so long, Justin. Bye. Let me know what you guys think about these parables. Sorry, I was really hungry. Sorry for the pause. Time's getting closer, guys. You know, I had somebody put up here because I was talking about tribulation saints and those that are left behind, and they were like, well, you might be one too. And look, that's true. I'm not perfect by any means. I'm a good sinner. But he's not seeking perfectionism by any means. He doesn't expect this from us because he knows we're not capable of it. Period. He is our mirror in the sense that we are to aspire to be like him. But will we ever be perfect? No. All these parables explain everything. And he did this for a reason. He wanted people to understand and also to ask. But we're getting closer, guys. All right, here we go. Final chapter. Chapter 7. Then came together unto him the Pharisees and certain of the scribes which came from Jerusalem. So we got scribes and Pharisees coming in from Jerusalem. And when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled, that is to say, with unwashed hands, they found fault. Why does this matter? And why are they making a big deal out of it? They're living by Levitical laws. And there's a list, like 80 some, I want to say. Don't quote me. I'd have to look it up to tell you for sure and certain. But washing your hands is one of them. Keeping your bathroom clean is one of them. And so the Pharisees and the scribes were like, they really wanted to judge people. They held themselves high on a pedestal, but they're good sinners just like the rest of the people. So, for the Pharisees and all the Jews, except they wash their hands often, eat not, holding the tradition of the elders. And when they came from the market, except they washed, they eat not. And many other things there be which they have received to hold, as the washing of cups and pots, brazen vessels, and of tables. Then the Pharisees and scribes asked him, why walk not thy disciples according to the tradition of the elders, but eat bread with unwashed hands? So again, they don't understand that they are going through a change right now. They are completely rejecting it. So Jesus answers and says to them, well hath Esaias prophesied of you hypocrites, as it is written, this people honoreth me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. People who are judging other people's heart, or their hearts are far from God. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandment of God, you hold the tradition of men as the washing of pots and cups and many other such things like you do. Full well you reject the commandment of God that you may keep your own tradition. For Moses said, honor your father and your mother, and who curseth your father or mother, let him die the death. But you say, if a man shall say to his father or mother, it is Corban, that is to say, a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me, he shall be free. But ye suffer him no more to do aught for his father or his mother. You don't do any more for your mother or father. Making the word of God of none effect through your tradition, which you have delivered, and many such like things do you. And when he had called all the people unto him, he said to them, hearken unto me, every one of you, and understand. There is nothing from without a man that entering into him can defile him, but the things which come out of him, those that they defile a man. If any man has ears, let him hear. So what you take in, what you eat and drink and all that doesn't defile you. It's what comes out of your mouth. It's the things that you say, because the words that you say come from your heart. So, and when he was entered into the house from the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. So they asked Jesus, what did that even mean? And he said to them, are you without understanding also? How do you guys not understand this? Do you not perceive that whatsoever thing from without entereth into a man cannot defile him? Do you not understand that the things that you eat and drink and the not washing your hands and all that doesn't defile you? Because it enters not into his heart, but into his belly and goes out into the draught, purging all meats. It leaves your body. And he said, that which cometh out of a man that defiles a man. From within, out of the heart of men proceeds evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man. And from thence he arose and went into the borders of Tyre and Sidon, and entered into a house, and would have no man know it. But he could not be hid. He tried to hide. He tried to go into someone's house and not tell anyone and let anyone know, but he couldn't hide. For a certain woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit heard of him, and came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, Syrophoenician by nation, and she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter. But Jesus said to her, let the children first be filled, for it is not meet to take the children's bread and to cast it unto the dogs. And she answered and said to him, yes, Lord, yet the dogs under the table eat of the children's crumbs. And so he replies, "For this saying, go your way. The devil is gone out of your daughter." It's a very smart woman. And when she was come to her house, she found the devil gone out and her daughter laid upon the bed. Hi. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you for being here. We are finishing. I'm actually on the last chapter that I'm reading today. We're finishing up Mark. So thank you. And again, departing from the coast of Tyre and Sidon, he came unto the sea of Galilee through the midst of the coast of Decapolis. And they bring unto him one that was deaf and had an impediment with his speech. And they besought him to put his hand upon him. And he took him aside from the multitude and put his fingers into his ears, and he spit and touched his tongue. And looking up to heaven, he sighed and said unto him, Ephphatha, that is, be opened. And straightway his ears were opened, and the string of his tongue was loose, and he spake again. And he charged them that they should tell no man, but the more he charged them, so much the more a great deal they published it. So the more he told people not to say anything, the louder they got about it. And were beyond measure astonished, saying, He hath done all things well. He makes both the deaf hear and the dumb speak. And that was it for chapter 7. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. If you are interested, I'm going through the Gospels. I have a series up. If you aren't subscribed, we finished up Matthew and now I'm doing Mark. If you are subscribed, thanks for being here and returning. I appreciate that. So, that's it for today on Mark. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you so much for subscribing. That's awesome. That's so cool. Just a reminder, because you kind of came in late on the video. I don't have a Patreon. I don't charge anybody anything. I won't ever do merch or anything like that. The word is free. It should be free to anybody. I welcome everybody's questions and comments. I absolutely love it. And if I can't find an answer, we'll look it up together on here for sure. But yeah, the only thing that this channel costs you is just your time. So anyway, I'm going to get off here and go to bed so I can work the next overnight shift. But thank you all for being here. I appreciate you. Love you. Thank you for subscribing. And I will see you guys next time.